board. It is June 10th. The time is 7 o'clock. Could we have a roll call, please?
Robert Romer,
Here.
James Barr,
Here.
Michael Lau,
Here.
Austin Groner,
Here.
Michael Gore,
Here.
and Eric Nyland is present. And for the record, Michael Lau, associate member, will be sitting in as a voting planning board member for this meeting.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, I think we can dispense with the reading of the remote public meeting because it has been published. So why don't we move on to the agenda? First item is a request for release of covenant and performance security for the South Bolton Estates. So you want to bring that up, Pam, and walk through it? If you can provide some commentary on this.
Sure. The planning board approved the securities as recommended by the consultant a few months ago. This security agreement releases the lots in the Bolton Hill Estates from covenant and provides security through an insurance and bond agreement. I referenced all the book and page numbers at the Registry of Deeds, and this format and wording has been approved by council and a former reiteration. So we use it as a model now. So it satisfies our requirements.
Okay.
It's pretty standard. It releases all 6 lots and covers the remaining work for the cul-de-sac.
Okay. And since it's an insurance bond, I understand under these circumstances, it cannot be unilaterally revoked, right?
I don't know.
It can't be canceled the way we've seen it in the past.
It has an expiration date, so we'd need to renew it, and there's terms
Right.
in there which requires it be renewed 30 days prior to expiration.
Okay, so we need to track that carefully.
Yes. Yep. That's pretty typical and I don't see an issue.
Okay. It was a bit of a challenge, if you recall, with Moderator Way. Okay, are there any comments?
This is just
on
to, yeah, this is just to release the lots, right? We're not releasing any security from this, right?
No.
We don't have any security, so this agreement establishes the security as was recommended by the consultant. We had a detailed bond estimate that we voted to approve, and this is reflective of that amount. Horsley Witten provided a detail of the remaining work that was reviewed by town staff, DPW, and the board back in March.
And I believe that you had that up on the drive as well.
Yes. Yep.
I went through that. I have to accept it. I can't take exception to it. So are there any comments by the board? Do we have any of the public on the call?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Brian Lee. I'm currently living at 2 Cummings Road in Merrimack, New Hampshire.
Do you have comment?
I would just say I would happily, I'm certainly looking forward to this being approved because I would like to be the first owner of Lot 6 in that plan. And we are currently awaiting closing that's held up by this. So we are highly interested.
And I think we're well on our way.
I appreciate it.
So if we have no further comment for the board, and we've heard Mr. Lee's comments, I propose that we have a resolution to approve this.
I will make a motion to approve the request for release of covenant and performance security for South Bolton Estates.
Second.
Roll call vote. Robert Romer,
Aye.
Michael Lau,
Aye.
Austin Groner,
Aye.
and Michael Gore.
Aye.
Okay. The release of covenant and performance agreement is approved by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you.
I'm gonna place this in the gray box for signature. Bob, your signature is the only one that requires notarization, if you wouldn't mind stopping in at some point so we can take care of that with the town clerk, that'd be appreciated.
Okay, can you go down to the bottom to that?
Yeah.
Go up.
Oop.
I think it lists Eric as the chair.
Yeah, I'll change that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Unless he'd like to sign it. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Lady, I assume that makes your evening?
Yes, it does indeed make my evening. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Right.
I would just say that we would appreciate if we could get the physical signatures promptly, because we are holding up our closing.
I will do that. I assume it'll be changed tomorrow, Pam, so I could
Yeah,
sign
I'll
it?
do it first thing in the morning.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, moving on to agenda item 2, the Forbridge Mill study area. That was up in the drive. I know Eric had a number of comments. I had some comments basically in response to his. So why don't we walk through it?
Sure.
I had some questions.
I lost my control. Give me 1 second.
Oh, can you put up a link or send us a link to the report itself at some point? I've seen it recently, but I'm not sure that's the last version. Not now. I mean, when you get a chance.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm having a problem with. There we go, sorry. I just started this out as a draft. Before the meeting, I highlighted some questions that maybe we can go over. But we can start. I just to give you a brief overview, I created a new zoning district. It seemed that a majority of the lots that we were studying in the Forbush Mill study area were about 1 acre in size and didn't want to create a lot of nonconformities and a lot of unnecessary permitting. So I included a 1 acre lot area and a new zoning district because of the current layout and situation of the study area. So we went through the purpose of the village zoning district. I didn't mention some prohibited uses. Eric had issue with prohibiting gas stations and automobile uses. Typically when you want village type of zoning with shared parking, you want to discourage the use of automobile oriented uses. So that was my reasoning for that, but certainly up for discussion with the board. But that was the reason why those were incorporated into the prohibited use list. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, okay, I guess were there comments on that? Eric, I know, was concerned about drive-through service. We've had a question from a person in a civics class at Neshoba Regional High School asking why it was prohibited in our use table. And I believe you and I agreed, but you responded to him, Pamela, on the rationale for that.
Why? Yes, why it was prohibited in our
And that was a
zoning
more
bylaw.
general question, I think.
Yeah, it was. They're doing a civics project, and we've received a lot of various questions about zoning and streets and sidewalks and that type of thing.
Which incidentally is great.
Mhm.
I don't think that's happened before.
Not it hasn't happened since I've been here, but
Hmm.
I don't know about prior.
Just to go back to the name of it, so we're calling this the Village District.
I just said we can call it whatever. It was just a new
Okay, yeah,
name
I'm just
for, yeah,
because I can never remember the name of the existing one. The mixed use village overlay is what we
Yeah.
have for that one. So I think we
Mhm.
want to try to have it be distinct from that, so we're not confusing people.
Okay.
I don't have a
Mike,
great
what would you
name for it, but
suggest?
yeah, I was just thinking, something with business in the title, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know that we can figure that one out, but just
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I
because
understand what you're saying. It's too similar.
yeah,
Yeah.
and throughout here you're using VD, VCOD, and VOD, and I think they all mean the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I went back and forth between doing an overlay and a district, and I chose just to create a separate district because having an underlying zoning district of a 2-acre minimum didn't seem to fit what we were trying to accomplish and created a lot of non-conforming lots. So that was my reasoning for changing the district entirely.
Yeah,
So
I
that
would agree
rezones
with
the
that.
entire property, right?
Yes, this
Yeah.
we would propose for our whole study area.
Yeah.
So this is the only district, so there's nothing underlying it, is what you're saying?
That's
This-
what my suggestion was.
Yeah, and then reducing it down to an acre so that we don't have any pre-existing non-conforming, or minimize that at least.
Yeah, if you look at the table, which outlines all the included maps and parcels in their current areas, there were a number of 1-acre parcels that currently exist. So to prevent creating a lot of non-conformities and keeping in the size and scale of the existing area, I created a new district with a 1-acre minimum.
Mhm.
I thought that would be more palatable than changing all of the business zoning districts throughout town, since we're really focusing on this area.
Yeah,
But of course, open for discussion.
no, I think it'd be confusing to have an overlay district at this point. Let's just change it.
Mhm. And as far as encouraging walkability over everybody driving their car to the district, or to these businesses, does it make, so we're encouraging shared parking amongst businesses, and then, does the minimum setback make sense, or should we, maybe it might make sense for parking to be in the rear of the businesses?
We did include a provision to encourage that, not require it.
I must have missed it.
Parking in the rear of mixed use buildings, I can
Mhm.
change that to all.
And then just before buildings, I think it's all instead of A.
Right.
Yep.
So are we requiring them to have parking in the rear or encouraging?
I think we should encourage and allow it based on review of the board.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So just getting back to automobile uses. Do you want to think about that some more?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't want a gas station there.
Okay,
I mean, in terms
I mean-
of the context in which we're developing this and the intent that we had originally, is an issue, but I think also the whole business of traffic is for a gas station, not necessarily a repair service, is comparable to a drive-through. And there's a lot of traffic in an area where we really can't take it.
okay, so I'll leave that in there. We can discuss it more.
I had a question about the maximum building height of 32 feet.
Yes.
How is that typically, how is 32 selected, basically?
That's what our current commercial height restriction is, so I maintain that in this zoning district.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
3 stories. I don't think we want to go higher than that, but
Mhm.
of course, up for
Not-
discussion.
Not unless we want to buy new fire equipment with our very limited budget.
Yeah, we don't have a ladder truck, so we can't go
Right.
higher than that.
And then Pam, the minimum front yard setback of 20 feet,
hmm
that basically it's pushing the buildings back by 20 feet from, from the roadway, from the front of the property. Um, I'm just thinking with like encouraging parking to be around the rear, is that a lot? Is that too much perhaps? Too much of a setback?
It's up for discussion. 20 feet is less than what we currently require.
I'm just thinking about what we
I
had
think
talked
it-
about. Go ahead.
Certainly, like down the center of town doesn't have much of a front yard setback, but 20 feet can, on a busy road with curb cuts and things, can kind of maintain a setback from the area, keep more of a suburban type of feel, but it's up for discussion.
Well, keep in mind that one of our objectives was to have common infrastructure, water,
Mhm.
sewer, and transportation. And if there were to be a common driveway or a shared driveway into commercial establishments, the front yard would become the front yard on that driveway. And how would we want to deal with that?
So like a road.
I don't understand.
So like a road encircling some of the property
Right.
to travel to the back where there would be parking.
I'm not quite understanding, I guess. How
Well,
would we
if-
deal with a driveway to the all of our front yard setbacks are 50 feet if we want to discuss
Mhm.
something else to
I
create
guess
more of that like dense village area development. We can. I don't think we're gonna get something that street front facing. We just don't have a walkable community along the roadway, so that was my thinking for keeping the setback.
Mhm. My only concern with that was that if we're not encouraging people to build closer and encouraging the parking to be in the back, which we are doing that, it's just going to naturally turn into strip malls, I think. And I don't know that that's going to be the best preservation of character of the town. So I didn't know if maybe a maximum setback of a certain number of feet would be more appropriate.
I'm not sure I understand that, Austin. A maximum setback?
Yeah, to encourage the buildings to be on the front half of the properties and encourage the, or pretty much force the parking to be in the rear.
I see. Okay. So
Yep.
by regulation, you move the building more towards the street
Mhm.
and that encourages parking in the rear.
Right, right. Yep. But I do understand what you're saying, Pam, as well. So the 20 feet would include something like a walkway or a sidewalk and some, maybe a road that would travel around the back potentially, or some landscaping in front of the building. Um, I, I'm sure that works well. I just, I was concerned about the potential for this all to turn into strip malls, you know?
We can put in some design requirements too, once we get everything, like the basics established, which would prevent that type of linear development, or at least incorporate some design requirements into the facades and layout, which may address some of your concerns.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, think we need to think about, um, when we start talking about frontage, is this frontage on, 117 and Forbes Mill, or could this be frontage on some sort of, new road, new driveway up into that area? I had envisioned something, having a cluster of commercial establishments on a common driveway, common access, common, exit, and having them pretty close.
Did Pam drop? I think she might have.
Yeah, her
Said her
computer
battery was running low.
Yeah,
Okay.
wait a minute.
I didn't think we could still be in the meeting if she dropped out, but
It
here we
made
are.
Bob the, the owner of the meeting automatically.
Yeah.
Now, let's wait for a couple of minutes until our computer gets re-energized.
This district is going down 117 also, right? All the way towards Bolton Orchards.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it including Bolton Orchards?
Um, yeah, I believe it is. I think we need to go back and take a look at the map.
I think it should be included.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one, so in the back to the prohibited uses, the automobile repair services and sales. I mean, there's an existing business there on 117 that now that may be, I don't know if that's I mean, certainly grandfathered in. I don't know if that's a residential that's using that as a accessory.
I think it is,
Use.
and I think I know what you're talking about. Is it a small engine repair place? I think.
That
Yeah,
no,
it's
that
automotive detailing as
it's
well.
yeah. I mean, the guy does car work. So I don't, it always looks bad if we put in something prohibited that already exists there. I feel like someone might feel singled out by that. So we just want to watch out for that.
Well, I think as we move forward with this, we need to make absolutely sure that we understand the scope of his effort and make sure
Mhm.
that it's appropriately grandfathered.
Yeah. And I suppose the other thing that we'll eventually want to have a good answer on is what is the difference between this and the mixed use village overlay, and what is this allowing that one doesn't? Because I could see someone saying, well, why not just add that whole property into the existing um,
Mhm.
mixed use overlay.
What's the density for the mixed use again?
I don't. Yeah, I don't have that offhand. Eric would know that better than me. We could look it up when we.
I think we're looking for a denser development here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's also more business specific. I think the other one, I think, required housing as part of it, whereas this one doesn't. This one is really more business forward, but housing can be incorporated into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that this is the right way to do it. I just, I'm always thinking about, how do we sell it to people?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, good
I
point.
just wanted to get some ideas out there before I get into like the nitty gritty, because we hadn't really discussed what path exactly we're gonna move forward in terms of overlays and new districts. So this was what the report kind of recommended, and so this is just a draft to start to
Yeah, no, this is great.
start
And I do,
discussion.
I love the idea of making it its own, just rezoning it all. I mean, that's one thing that the board really hasn't done, is we don't just like rezone areas. Whereas like that's within our power to do. I feel like we kind of nibble around the edges. And so this is like, throwing down a stake of like, we rezone this entire area to apply to this. So I like it.
Well, I think it falls under the actual planning. Pardon
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Yeah, Mike, you're exactly right. The mixed use overlay district is very residential heavy.
Yeah.
And we had talked about trying to limit that for this area
Mhm.
and trying to get some more economic development, so that instead of just applying the mixed use to these parcels, that's why we created a new
Yep.
district entirely.
Yep.
Other than that, are the dimensions more or less the same between the two zones?
Like the coverage and the setback. I know, I'm pretty sure we changed those over the years, but I don't remember the specific areas.
The underlying zoning districts applies to the mixed use overlay, and then there's a 10,000 square foot per dwelling unit requirement for the residential units. And it only allows 1 and 2 bedroom. I didn't restrict bedrooms, but this bylaw proposes that the total makeup of a mixed use development the residential component can't exceed 40% of the building gross floor area. So, and that's up for discussion too, of course. So I'll bring it back up. Sorry, I got kicked out and then my computer decided to
Sorry, I
reboot.
ran out of fuel.
Yeah.
Good. Right, now I can read it. A little bigger,
Little bigger? Okay.
a little bigger.
Sure.
There, that's fine.
Right. And we decided over here. Right, this is where we were.
Did Eric have a question about the 1.4 FAR?
FAR, that's Florida area ratio.
Right,
He just wrote, what is this, I think?
he was the one who suggested it.
Oh yeah, he wrote, I don't understand what this means. So that just means for every
You're just explaining it by example, right?
yeah, that's all I was doing. For every 4 square feet of area, you can build 1 square foot of building, which gives you possibly a 25-foot building coverage for a 1-story, less than that if it's 2-story. And that's of course up for discussion.
But that's not the footprint. That's the overall usable area, regardless of the number of stories.
Yeah, we can change it to footprint and
Yeah, I
then,
think it's typically footprint, isn't it? But I don't know. In any case, either way, are there comments about using a FAR approach ratio?
I don't have a really good sense of what this would look like. I don't have a good base of comparison, so I wouldn't really have any comments on this section yet.
I can send out some examples of different FARs, just squares and
So
buildings.
we'd always use
Very
the
generic.
coverage, right? Like the 25% coverage to mean that. So now this limits us beyond that because it's not just 25% of the lot, but it's if you had multiple stories, like if you had a 2-story building, you're applying a floor area ratio on the whole thing, right?
Right.
It has to be a smaller footprint if you start building up, in other
Yeah.
words.
Yeah,
As
exactly.
opposed to
Yeah.
a
Well,
footprint ratio.
an acre would allow for a 10,000 square foot building.
Mhm.
That's
Total.
Yeah.
So basically, it caps the square footage of the building, how
I-
you want to do it, whether it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that for single use though, and I was expecting to allow for increases for mixed use. So this paragraph underneath, I didn't come up with the relief that could be allowed, but just the idea of granting a density bonus for mixed uses, we can figure out underneath this. So that my intention for this one was for single use buildings to have an FAR of 1 to 4, and then we can allow for increased density for mixed uses to provide density bonuses for providing a variety of things,
So what are you thinking
which is
about
what
for density bonuses? I mean, would then you go to a footprint?
we can talk about the different options. Yeah.
And when we say mixed use here, does that mean residential plus
Well,
some business or different types of businesses together?
we don't define, I didn't define it yet. So we would need to do that and determine if we want to require residential to be incorporated. I didn't think that we did.
Well, it's just because now we're encouraging, like we're giving them a bonus by doing mixed use. So what is an example of mixed use that's not residential, I guess?
Like multiple businesses sharing the same building.
Like the pool place across from Slater's. Is that what we're thinking? Multiple businesses within one structure.
Or multiple buildings on a lot. Let me give that, I'll come up with some, because if we don't want to encourage residential, then that might not be the best option.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't want to encourage residential, but if we're supposed to be encouraging businesses, then this is almost it's encouraging residential as part of it.
Which is what Goose Pond was pushing for, right?
Yeah, that's what that guy wanted. Although that was what he initially wanted. I don't know what he kept talking about the market and this and that. So I don't know what the end of the day what he actually wanted at that meeting that we held with the public last
I
year.
remember that. Yeah, he was saying that standalone businesses tend not to do well in isolation. Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't say. So
Now, his concern was that he couldn't make it a financially advantageous deal to do it purely with commercial, that he had to put residential above it.
mhm.
And hence we would
No,
have to change the
he
zoning.
actually had a standalone 55 and over development with a separate
Right.
commercial building along Main 117. Yeah. All right, I have to think of how to do that, because if we have shared septic too, then we can increase the FAR.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I just was throwing some ideas out there. Let me work on that more, that portion of it. And then housing, I limited to 40% as a maximum with no minimum. So it wouldn't be mandatory.
Where'd the 40% come from?
I was just thinking of the intent of the bylaw. So if we had a 10,000 square foot building, we wouldn't want more than 2,000, 4,000 square feet. It's up for discussion.
And I think it would be, although a pain in the neck, to come up with some scenarios and figure out how we would permit those scenarios. Like a little cul-de-sac with a bunch of buildings around it, common septic in the middle of it, common water.
I mean, there's an infinite possibilities for that. That wouldn't,
Well, we can't address all of them, but it would be nice to look
Yeah.
at a couple and see if this works. I love the vibrant village atmosphere.
what's that?
I love the vibrant village atmosphere, if one can quantify that.
Parking waivers for shared pedestrian elements. And then this is from our mixed use bylaw. I didn't know if these were things we wanted to carry over into the village district with the transfer of development rights. I don't think we'll need it with the density we're gonna allow.
Yeah, I didn't remember what the point of this was from the mixed use bylaw. Was basically saying you could take land abutting the project and count it as uh you set it aside basically.
As undevelopable, yeah.
Yeah.
In common ownership or,
So you could increase the density on a property if you preserved vacant land in another location.
contiguous to the development?
Yeah, that's how the mixed use
Right,
is
okay.
written, yeah. I didn't think we needed it for what we're doing. But
I
What's
think it muddies it a little bit.
yeah,
the intent is just to prevent overdevelopment? Is that it?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
But I think we have enough. I think we have enough standards in there that we wouldn't need to do it. And they're hard to keep track of.
Yeah, I'd recommend not having it in there.
I agree, but I just
Yeah,
want
no,
to
I
discuss
agree
it.
with that.
And then
I mean,
the
it
mixed,
would, oh, sorry, go ahead.
that's okay. Nope. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say, it would be good to discuss this when Eric is here because he had, I mean, the mixed use overlay was kind of his project that he ran. So,
Okay.
he'd have a good understanding about why we did that. Like maybe that was just either a sweetener for developers or something to you know say to the town that yeah we wouldn't have overdevelopment. But it'd be good to get his feedback on that.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of that land in this little quadrant, let me tell you.
And then the mixed use bylaw also required open space preservation for each property, 10% be set aside.
But, in this case, is that really practical considering the lot size?
I didn't think so, and I don't think it was the intent of what we were trying to do. We're really trying to
No,
focus
I don't-
more on economic development, but
Definitely not.
I just
No,
wanted
I
to
mean,
mention it because some village type bylaws have those, so.
No, it'd end up being tiny little, dog parks.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we want, but not in this context.
I mean, it's effectively open space anyway because of the lot coverage restriction.
Right.
Um, and then they're not going to make 75% of it the parking lot. Like, so,
Oh,
and maybe it's not
that's,
technically open space, but it's undeveloped space, I guess.
do we have anything about impervious surface?
Yeah, we limited it to,
Sorry, I missed that.
That's at the top, I
Uh,
think.
yeah, it's in the 40%.
Okay.
And we can change FAR to building footprint. Um, But I'll get some scales. They have examples of that I can forward. So you can get an idea of how much lot coverage that would be and how much it looks like.
Mhm.
Now, if you went to a footprint instead of a floor area ratio and you kept it the same, you could get some pretty healthy floor areas, 3 times what you are looking at for a footprint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That may be advantageous. I don't know.
Well, especially if anybody wants to truly build mixed use where there's
Yeah.
residential on top of business, right?
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then I prohibited solely residential development, which I think was what we wanted
Right.
and discussed. Okay.
So if you went to 3 stories on that kind of footprint, you advertise the third story as a rural penthouse.
That would be a lot. I think that's a little too dense. We might want to think about that.
Yeah.
That's a 30,000 square foot building on an acre.
Right. That's pretty
That's a
big.
lot. Yeah.
That was my problem, is I didn't have a good intuition for what that meant.
Okay.
Well, I know that's not a lot, but I just want to discuss where we were headed and make sure I was thinking of the right avenue with the separate district and limiting the residential. And then I'll come up with some more stuff and we can get into the specifics.
No,
I'll
this
get
has
more
been great.
examples.
Yeah, it was great.
It's got us moving. Any other comments?
No.
If not, shall we move on to our meeting schedule for the rest of the, at least summer?
Is we the bylaw work is, I didn't know if what I wanted to check in on vacations for July and August, see what the board's preference was for meeting dates.
I don't know, at this point, I have no real preference. You know, with Zoom, it's a great advantage.
I have a vacation in mid-August. So that's my vacation schedule for the next couple months.
Great. Should we stick with the 2nd and 4th for now?
Yeah, I'd suggest that.
Fine by me.
Second and
Okay.
fourth. So that's
So
the
it'd be
12th.
July 8th, July 22nd, August 12th, and August 26th.
That works for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
One additional topic, Pam, is maybe we'll talk about this at the end of the summer, I'm sure, but my sports calendar with my kids is filling up
Okay.
pretty quickly in the fall. So I just wanted to put it out there. I think it would be I am more available after 7:30 p.m. I know we
Okay.
took 7 o'clock, but I don't want to inconvenience everybody if that's not going to work.
When does that start, Austin?
It should start like I think the beginning of September, end of August. So like we can
Okay.
just say September moving forward. So if it doesn't matter to everybody, then my preference would be to shift it back by 30 minutes if possible.
Yeah, I have no problem with that, and we'll probably see more of Eric.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to the minutes. I reviewed them, made some very minor corrections on typos. Other comments, if any?
I have to
I
check
was
our
not there for that meeting. Yeah, I wasn't there for that one.
Mike, I have you as absent and present. I have to check on your,
I am pretty sure I was absent for that one.
yeah, I remember you were sick for that one. This was
Yeah.
the ADU
Ugh.
bylaw.
That was my flu. Yeah.
Not fun.
I just,
Yeah, take out the right Michael. There you go.
yeah. I have to check on Michael Lau. It won't let me edit for some reason.
Okay.
Okay,
I
I'll just
don't
make,
have good notes on it, to be honest with you. I'm trying to remember the.
I can check we have tape of it. I'll just
Yeah.
revert back to the tape. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
Okay, can we then have a motion for approval of the minutes of March 26th?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there, so someone else make the motion.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes on from March 25th, 2026.
Seconded.
Bob Romer,
Aye.
Austin Groner, and Michael Lau.
I think I remember that. Certainly still remember one.
Yeah, that's okay. So you were there.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, the minutes are approved by a vote of 3-0.
I think Jim's also here too.
Jim,
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
haven't
Jim.
gotten sworn in yet, so I have to,
Sorry.
yeah, I'm gonna do it as soon as I get home. So I've been out and about.
My bad.
No worries. No
it's
worries.
okay.
Okay, the last item is other business, which in this case is the group that the select board has asked us to join for consideration of the future of Town Hall and the Houghton Building. Which, from my perspective, is very important from a planning perspective. So I did send around, I've had this conversation for a very long time with a number of people, particularly with respect to a community center or temporary community center, a la what Berlin has done. And I sent around the write-up that I had shared with them. I have gotten no feedback for 3 years. So hopefully they have taken it upon themselves to rediscover this issue and move ahead. So do I hear a volunteer?
What's the commitment for this position?
They're expected to have a report by December, was it December? Let me check. It's less than a year, meeting approximately once a month. It's expected to be remote, and they're evaluating whether it's in the town's best interest to sell off Town Hall and the Houghton Building, or improve capital in capital improvements that are required to maintain the buildings. So they would look at renting space for employees in a private commercial building and put out RFPs for Town Hall to be reused, or invest in the capital improvements that are needed to continue use of the building. And the same with the Houghton Building.
Got it.
Let me just check the.
I would volunteer. I think if I did, I would be in a big trouble.
Yeah, you're already on 2.
Yeah.
You're already-
That's too many things.
I'm on 2 as well.
I'll take it.
Jim, was that you?
Yeah, yes,
Okay. You want me to forward your information
yes, please.
for interest? It's on for tomorrow night's select board meeting, just so you know. So you would be on the agenda for that.
Do I have to be there?
If you're not able to make it, I'll just let them know that you're interested to represent the planning board on the committee.
Tomorrow night? Yeah, not a problem. I can make it.
Okay, it's a remote meeting,
Okay,
and I'll
Alright.
forward you the agenda.
okay, perfect.
Thanks, Jim. I consider
Yep.
this really important. I mean, in terms of the future of those buildings, character of the town.
Yeah, I mean, what's everyone's thought process on this?
I mean, they've offered some very high level alternatives, as Pam described. But I did have actually a fairly lengthy conversation with Bill Nichols probably a month ago, and he thought that there was an opportunity for things like public-private partnerships, community centers, or outright sale or lease with agreements for maintenance. There are a whole range of things. So I'm not sure that there are any preferred route at this point. I think it's wide open. And that certainly was his sentiment.
And both
Okay.
buildings are considered historic, is that right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So there would be restrictions on, well, I guess, are there restrictions on what those could look like or be renovated into?
No, not at this point.
Yeah,
sure.
actually, there is. Town Hall has received a Mass Historical grant, which required the recording of a historical preservation restriction on the property. So both the interior and exterior of Town Hall is jurisdictional through the Mass
Has that been
Historical
done,
Commission.
Pam?
Has it been done in terms of?
Has it been filed, the restriction?
Yeah, it's recorded at the Registry of Deeds.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So in answer to your question, Austin, yeah, there are some limitations.
Mhm.
What about the Houghton Building?
I'm not aware of a recorded restriction on the Houghton Building.
Okay.
So, Bob, can you enlighten me with something? So I go to the wood turners, the Central New England Wood Turning Association. in Berlin at their town hall. Are there
Right.
offices in the town hall? Because I know when we do it, we go upstairs into that big area that's up there. Is that what you said something like Berlin does?
No. This is the converted church that they use as a community center,
Oh, okay.
right? Which has been incredibly successful. It
Yeah.
seemed small in the beginning, but the programs that they have done there have attracted actually a substantial number of Bolton people.
Okay.
Jim, just, I just want you to know that the meetings are expected to occur once a month, likely remotely, with a overview expected in November and a final recommendation at May 2027 town meeting
From me?
from the committee.
From the committee. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
the building task force committee. Yeah.
Who's chairing it? Do we know?
I don't think they have appointed people yet, so I'm not
Okay.
sure that's been determined. Yeah.
Okay.
They're looking at volunteer applications tomorrow evening.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll definitely be a part of that. That's
So in addition to a member from the planning board, a member from the historical commission, there are other members at large, and they've identified the type of expertise and experience that they're looking for.
okay.
I forwarded the charge of the committee when I initially requested planning board members to volunteer, and I'll resend that to you, Jim, just so you can revisit it.
Okay. Very good.
And Pam, last question for the Houghton building. What kind of zoning is that parcel on? Is that limited business?
That's actually in a residential zoning
That's
district.
residential.
Okay.
Yeah.
So technically like a childcare facility could be like on the first floor or something like that because it's residential.
Yeah, childcare facilities are allowed in any zoning district.
Okay.
Daycares are exempt from under 40A Section 3.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Yet again.
Some, um, yeah, so they can put that in any zoning district in town where they can find a suitable location.
Mhm.
It would just, new construction would trigger site plan review.
Yeah, like I said, I do know a business owner in a neighboring town who's interested to, to expand into the Bolton area. So, if there's a need and it could fit the space there, perhaps they would be interested in renovating that space to be something like that.
That'd
Just
be
a-
great for the Forbush Mill rezone area,
Mhm.
right across from the school.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I suspect they might need public water supply for that. I'm not sure.
That's a good question. I don't know.
What do they have in the Houghton building for water? You know,
I don't know.
I mean, it's connected to the sewage system. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Anything else that we need to address?
No. Just the status of the housing production plan. Our next meeting hasn't been scheduled yet, but few volunteers and Gloria from MAPC and myself went to Backyard Bolton and got a number of comments from the community. We harassed them as they were shopping. We're going to summarize those and I'll forward the board a copy along with our draft of the housing needs assessment, just so you know where we are and where it looks like the data's headed.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll Pam, did you see
Oh,
the,
and-
did you see the note in chat from Brian Lee?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, let me just read it. For the board members with regards to Bolton Estates, my wife and I want to make you aware of our situation. We're trying to close on Monday. Through conversations with Lauren, I understand 3 of the members must hand sign to allow the agreement to be filed, and the filing gates of the certificate of occupancy, which is a condition tied to the closing. Due to multiple delays, we're at the tail of our mortgage rate lock-in, including extensions. I would be remiss if I didn't at least make the board aware of our situation. This is not a request. I appreciate your attention. Sincerely yours, Brian. So if you can follow up, that sounds to be inconsistent with what you just described.
Well, are they asked, Pam, do multiple of us need to sign it and only Bob needs to have it notarized, or just
Yeah, I
Bob
need-
needs to sign it?
Nope, I need 3 signatures and
Okay.
Bob is the only signature that requires notarization.
Okay.
I can sign it tomorrow, so I'm free.
Yeah, I can come down tomorrow also and sign it.
Okay, I'll
Thank
sign
you.
it tomorrow as well.
Great. I'll just keep it, I don't know what time you're coming in, but I'll just keep it in my office, on the map files outside the door in
Okay.
case for whatever reason. I should be in all day tomorrow.
Okay,
All right.
And
Good
then
enough.
Kristen,
So, sorry, Pam, it's just Austin, Mike, Gore, and Bob.
yeah, Mike Lau can come in too if he'd like, but I only need 3. So whoever's available tomorrow, the first 3 would be great.
Okay.
great. Could I have a motion for adjournment, or do you have a question,
And
Austin?
Oh, no,
You look
I was just
pensive
gonna
there.
say, what time what are the hours tomorrow? I can swing by after I drop my kids off at the bus at 8:15.
I'm in at 8, but the door will be locked. So if you want to come to the bottom door and knock or just give my office or cell phone a call, I can let you in and get your signature. Me
Okay.
at the door, just do a quick signature if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. Yep.
Okay.
Great. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Bye,
Have a good
Pam.
night. Have a
Thanks,
good
Pam.
night. Thanks.